Good morning. Today is the first day of furlough and I've decided we're going to be super happy. Now I was actually supposed to be off, that sounded really posh. I was actually supposed to be off this week anyway. And so it's just a holiday week, I've decided. Super chill. A couple of things, a couple of housekeeping notes, one of which is I obviously talked about the furlough last week and I just want to clarify, no one has taken what I said. No one's left any comments that lead me to believe that anyone doesn't understand what I say, but I still feel like I should clarify. I'm completely appreciative of the situation that I'm in. The reason that I shared the feeling of kind of strange unhappiness with being furloughed and strange stress that came along with it was because, number one, I wanted to share that my like weird judgmental brain had a change of perspective, and I now realised that I'd been wrong for assuming that it was easier for some than for others, because this whole thing is horrible for everybody, but also that I wanted this, and then when I got it, I didn't want it. And I just kind of wanted to share that for people who are maybe in a situation where they're still working and they don't think they're going to be furloughed. I think part of it was that I truly did not expect to be, because we are technically key workers, which is why like Milo and Ella could still be going to school. They can still be using their childminder. She's still working, because we are technically key workers. So I was thinking, well, there's no way we'll be furloughed. And then it just kind of came completely out of the blue. And then the thing of being selectively furloughed is it 100% feels like you've been laid off. It feels like this is it now. Everyone else is still working as normal, and there are only two of us that have been laid off, one of whom is not someone that I would stay in touch with outside of work. So I feel very on my own in the whole thing. Additionally, just before all of this went down, we went through a round of redundancy. So we were literally told about 2 weeks before lockdown that our jobs were safe. And I was asked to work full time. There was a whole thing. We were thinking, right, well, this is great. At least we've got some job security. And then almost immediately lockdown, 2 or 3 weeks into lockdown, I was furloughed. And now I'm like, so at the end of this, because nobody knows, this is the whole thing. So it's not, I don't want you to think that I'm kind of not appreciative of the fact that I'm home and not working, because I absolutely am. And I'm trying to appreciate it for time off, but it doesn't feel like time off. And that's more what I was trying to get across, because I know some people will watch it and feel exactly the same way that I did previously, but it doesn't feel like time off. And I feel like I've lost my kind of raison d'etre for just day to day. And I'm concerned at the end of it that if there are only two of us that end up being furloughed, we'll be seen as unnecessary. And if we do another round of redundancies, we'll be the first to go. They are the things that are going through my mind. It's not as cut and dry as I initially thought. And yeah, but we're not talking about that because we're starting today off fresh, super positive. Last night, Lee and I did some face masks. I'm going to leave you with some photos of those face masks because they are ridiculous. I think trying to take family selfies with the dog while wearing face masks might be like peak lockdown. The other thing that I wanted to mention was on the last vlog, there was one, it really was only one person, but the whole discussion was about whether or not you'd heard that you were only supposed to go to the supermarket as a single person, like one person per household. I had heard this, although it hadn't really come up because I'd only been out twice and Lee was going on his own all the time. But he'd said, because he's not the cook, I'll send him with a list and he will go and see, blah, blah, blah. And he said, well, why don't you come with me, because you can tell me what the thing is to get if the thing isn't available. And I said, you're not supposed to do that. And he had absolutely no idea. He'd not heard this at all. When he goes to the supermarket, it's all couples. I suggested perhaps it was because the Morrison's near us has got an older age range customer base, I think. So I wondered whether or not maybe they'd loosened those rules a little bit because the majority of the people were kind of of a certain age. Anyway, that was kind of the discussion we had in the first 5 minutes of the vlog. And so a lot of the comments were about that, because that is a question I'd asked. And a few people had said, well, they didn't know. A few people said that they worked in shops and that whole families had been, and it makes it difficult for social distancing. The whole thing was a discussion. And then one particular person, who obviously is having a particularly hard time right now, had said that her colleagues were dying. It was shocking and terrible that people were going, blah, 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 blah. I get it. I completely get it. you can leave whatever comments that you want. I appreciate that it's very, very difficult, harder for some than others in situations like that. Some people are literally seeing their friends die. However, this particular person was then taking it upon herself to comment underneath all the comments, underneath all the conversations, basically telling people off for leaving the house together, telling people off for going out in pairs, that kind of thing. I get it. I understand. No one should be going against the guidelines. I understand. But I also don't want that for the comments of these videos. This is supposed to be an escape. This is somewhere that we can talk about the struggles of day to day. It's not somewhere that I want people to feel like they can't say, oh my God, I did this and didn't know. Or I did this, this is not what I'm supposed to be doing, and expect to be told off by a stranger. Do you know what I mean? And that's just, I've noticed more and more that is kind of how people are venting their frustrations online. There are more trolls. The worst thing is they're not even trolls. They're not people who would usually be like that. They're not usually people, like, whenever people leave comments on videos, I will search, you know, something that I feel like, is this someone we want to keep around? I will search for their username on both my channels and see what comments they've left previously. This particular person was lovely, but I just didn't want that person coming into all the comments and basically venting their frustrations and getting everything off their chest at the expense of other people's mental health. That's not what this is for. And I just kind of wanted to put it out there. If you see comments like that, they won't be there for long, because it's not, we don't need that. Everyone is struggling right now. And I want it to feel like a safe space where you can say, yeah, I did this. I didn't realize it wasn't a thing you should do. And feel like you can be told by someone who does feel strongly about it in a nicer way, look, this is the deal, this is why. Lots of people were talking in the comments about people shopping in pairs and in families and why it's not a good thing. And I think that in itself is educational enough. If you see someone saying that they've done something you think they shouldn't do, just explain to them why, without being cruel. Explain to them why it's important to follow guidelines that perhaps they didn't even know were in place. You can't change hearts and minds by being angry and judgmental. You just can't. It's not ever gonna go your way. If you want to get someone onto your side, it's never going to be the way to do it by just telling someone they're wrong and shouting them down. It's one of my bugbears. Just have a conversation with people. But, you know, lots of leeway being given right now, because I know everyone's kind of at fever pitch. Everyone is like ready to snap at any moment. And especially if you've been through some serious loss, it's difficult to get in perspective why some people seem to be so flippant. But a lot of people, it's not, I mean, me included, it's not that they don't care. It's not that they're not kind of in it. It's just that they're trying to preserve themselves and they can't think too much about it. It can't be real in their minds. I saw something the other day, someone sent me something on Instagram saying that when you all go through a trauma together, which is so unusual, your brain is not, I'm going to butcher this, but it was something along the lines of your brain is not adept. Your brain is not adapt. It's the corona thing. You don't speak as often, and so you lose your words. It's the worst. It's not like cut out to deal with this kind of trauma, and so it doesn't. And you kind of switch it all off, and you just go through the motions and live your day to day, and then later on you'll process the trauma when you're ready to. And so right now I think there's a good amount of the country, the world, who are not really processing this and are just kind of going through the motions. And I think unfortunately in some cases that then means that they are relaxing some of the things that they shouldn't be relaxing. And it's absolutely fine to tell them, just to remind them, but just, you know, we can remind people of the rules. We can remind people of why we're doing the things that we're doing without like telling, like, you know, I think, you know, there's a vibe here. Anyway, we have gone off on a tangent. This is going to be a super long vlog, completely unintentionally. We're going to be more positive from now. So one thing that I did this weekend was finally finish this puzzle. It was a labor of love. If I ever think of buying a puzzle again, stop me. And I think we're going to have to break it up now. Decided, since my brother lives on the same estate that we do, I'd go and leave it on his doorstep for him to try and do, because then it won't just be me that was soul destroyed by this stupid puzzle. But it also meant that I had to get out of the house and walk around the corner to his house and get some fresh air. I hate walking for the sake of walking. Walking is not fun for me. Walking is a means to an end. And so if there's any opportunity where I can walk from A to B, I'll take it. Also, delivering some hand wash that my mum gave me to give to him since I was going. And I have to show you my outfit. I'm wearing Birkenstocks, some loungewear, aka pyjama trousers, and, of course, the big grey jumper. Delivered. And so it begins. We've been playing Dungeons & Dragons. Not for a very long time, truth be told. Because I didn't realise how long it would take to create the characters. You've got to fill so much information in. It's insane. Like, so much information. And it's all from the rule books and stuff. It was very time consuming. So we finally started playing the game. I swear. I've read so much. I've watched video after video after video. Like, so much stuff I've taken in. And still I have absolutely no idea what I'm doing. So I think it's going to be very much like a learn as you go along. And then every night I'm going to be watching like an hour's worth of YouTube videos explaining exactly how this works. It's so complicated. This is my new favourite dinner. Chicken thighs, which I'm a dark meat kind of person. That's what she said. Chicken thighs with butter, salt and pepper and lemon. I like that chicken. Ella was not keen. I think she kind of put up with it last week. And this week she was like, I'm just not enjoying this at all. I think it's delicious. Acquired taste, clearly. Anyway, I'm going to wrap up the vlog here because I know the first 10 minutes of this was me just like, I don't even know. I think the thing is, in the morning when I wake up, I look at my phone, and I'll go through comments and like respond to stuff and see what's been said and things. And I was just like, I just want to say, like draw a line under that and let's move on. Because I do just want it to be a positive space. Completely understand if you have something to say, you can say it, but I just don't want someone then systemically, is that what I mean? Systematically? Again, Corona has stolen my words. Been a big crash upstairs. There's been a lot of big crashes since we've all been home. People like unable to pull things down that they want to play with. People, Milo. Yeah, I didn't like that it was like then going after individual people. But I'm totally up for the discussion. Lots of people disagree in the comments, but they disagree respectfully. And you can talk to each other without, just respect. But I also appreciate that it's a difficult time for everyone. And sometimes we say things and we are a certain way online and in real life that we wouldn't usually be because we're just like stressed out. So yeah, drawing a line. Overall, money's back. Overall, way more positive day. Spent pretty much 7 hours trying to understand how to play Dungeons and Dragons. So any advice is welcome. Basic advice. And now I'm going to watch some more videos to tell me how. And hopefully tomorrow I'll have a clearer picture.
And I will leave my windows open so that I can hear the sound of